Priscilla had done some video.
Facebook live was 10 minutes and a half. Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Christian, and you are welcome to the Leadership Platform. This evening, we are talking about an interesting topic, a topic you like so much. And I urge you to stay with us for the end of the presentation. Yes, we can hear you, Auntie. Yes, we can hear you. So as I was saying, welcome to the Leadership Platform. Today, we are talking about an interesting topic, understanding the levels of leadership. And our speaker tonight is Samuel Ayim, the CEO of the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa. And Samuel Ayim is the CEO of the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, and he's a world-class certified coach by the John Maxwell Company and a John Maxwell certified coach. He is a lawyer by profession, and this evening he is going to take us through this topic, understanding the levels of leadership. What level are you in your leadership position? So let's welcome Samuel Ayim as he takes us through the presentation tonight. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Isaac. And thanks everybody who has chosen to spend part of your Saturday evening with us. We're going to share 1.5 hours of our time with you this evening. And it is our privilege to have you. We are excited that you can join us because we believe what we are going to share would be of benefit to people who are intentional about their leadership. So please introduce yourself in the comment section. Let us know you. Give us your name and where you are joining from, so that we can acknowledge you. Also, please share your thoughts with us as we go on in the comment section. If you agree with something, let's know. If you have a different idea, let's know. If you have some experience you want to share, feel free to type them in, and we'll share as many of them as possible as time permits. This is a learning session on the leadership platform every Saturday. And we have had a major event, the Live to Lead, which had ended on Friday, the 9th, and over 500 leaders from all over the country, and in fact, several people from outside the country join us at the Live to Lead. Several major corporations sponsored their managers and leaders to the Live to Lead, and the feedback is amazing. People have learned a lot. The experience was enriching, was empowering. And we will continue at the Center for Transformational Leadership to bring you more educative, enriching, and empowering programs. So this evening, let me try to share my screen with you so that we can begin the discussions. I'm trying to share this evening. We are using a different platform. In the previous editions, we have used Zoom, but as technology is going on, we continue to improve, and we continue to find different avenues to connect. And so we're going through a Streamyard. For those of you who know Streamyard, that's fine. Those who don't know, it's also one of those communication platforms, more professional. It enables you to join from your Facebook, from your YouTube, and also enables you to communicate with us. So this evening, we are going to talk about the levels of leadership, understanding the levels of leadership, and we are going to draw a lot from a book written by John C. Maxwell, which we are going to recommend for all of you to read. And the book is The 5 Levels of Leadership. The 5 Levels of Leadership. Other John Maxwell books that will be relevant and important for you to understand and grow your leadership is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. A very important, if you like, it's like a Bible on leadership. It has the fundamentals on how you can develop yourself, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. If you're a leader and you haven't read the Laws of Leadership, I recommend you do that. Then the other book that we will recommend you also read is Developing the Leader Within You. Developing the Leader Within You. These are all John Maxwell books, and we're going to recommend them, and we hope that you'll be able to lay your hands on. If you need copies, just contact us and we can arrange copies also for you, right? So the levels of leadership, this evening we are going to share 4 main ideas if time permits us. But this is a course, it's a full day course, guys. And for companies that want to grow their leaders, we encourage you. It's a full day course, 8 hours, where we sit with your team and we brainstorm and we go through this, and people can test themselves and know what level they are. On this platform, we cannot go into that detail, but we're going to try to cover as much as possible to help you to understand that there are different levels of leadership. So the first thing we want to say is that we want to underscore the importance of leadership. Now, COVID period, before COVID period, after COVID period, throughout generations, leadership is a key factor in the human society. There's been leaders of all sorts in different generations, but our times require even more leaders. Our times require even more leaders, and there is not a society, there is not a company, there is not a church, there is no business that can at a point say, well, we have enough leaders, we don't need any more leaders. In fact, we need more leaders today than ever before. And so we need to understand that you cannot grow yourself, you cannot grow your business, you cannot grow your organization, you cannot grow your country without leadership. And one of the important things we need to understand is that each one of us has a lead on his leadership. And so the ability, your leadership ability determines the effectiveness at which you can get your results. And if your leadership ability is low, then your effectiveness will be low. And that is why, especially you see football teams, they have a coach and the results are not coming. And the next thing is, let's change the coach and bring another person. The difference is leadership. If there's a business that is not doing well, so let's change the leader. In fact, in business circles, when companies are not doing well and people acquire them, the first person they change is the leader, the CEO. They let him go. Because if he was good enough, the company will not be suffering. So your effectiveness, whether you're a church leader, whether a business leader, or a family leader, your effectiveness is determined by your level of leadership. And let us understand that the higher you go in your life, the higher you go in your organization, the more leadership becomes important. And in the corporate world, we say we are climbing the corporate ladder. Now, if you're a banker, the higher you go in your career, the less banking you need. You need more leadership, more people skills, more strategy, things that probably you did not learn in banking. When you're an engineer, the higher you go in your profession, the less engineering you need, the more leadership skills you need. And the higher your leadership skills, the more effective you become. And I've shown on the screen, a chart. The first chart shows somebody who's from a scale of 1 to 10, his leadership is at 1 or 2. And see the level of effectiveness is a shaded portion. Now, that person is probably competent and his expertise level is maybe 8 or 9. But because his leadership ability is at 1, see the level of effectiveness. It's very low. Now, at the same level of competence and effectiveness and technical knowledge, if this person increases his leadership ability to a 6, automatically his effectiveness in the organization expands. It is absolutely important for us to understand that leadership is a critical factor. John C. Maxwell has said, everything rises and falls on leadership. And that is the first point we want to underscore. Once you understand and you appreciate this, then you begin to grow in your leadership. And that's why we're going to look at the levels of leadership this evening. Now, quickly, as we discuss leadership, there are 4 pillars that we want you to get right and understand. The first one is everything rises and falls on leadership. Appreciating the importance of leadership is the beginning of your leadership journey. If you don't appreciate it and you think that leadership is not important, you can focus on your technical skills, and that's fine. But you would always be at the back office. You will always have somebody else rule over you. The second thing is that the essence of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Leadership is defined in so many ways, but your ability to influence change, influence people to follow you, is what leadership is all about. Your ability to maximize the competences and skills of people for a specific goal is influence. And that is the essence of leadership. If you miss that one, you are not going to be a good leader. The third point is that the highest form of leadership is self-leadership. Everything that we're going to discuss and everything you need to be a leader will reside in you. It therefore requires you to lead yourself first before others can follow you. If you cannot lead yourself, in fact, if you cannot follow yourself, why should others follow you? So self-leadership is very important. It requires discipline. On Tuesday, I'm going to speak on the core program on self-leadership. And we share the links. Those of you interested can register and join. And that will be a full, a short discussion, but it's going to be fully on self-leadership. Then the highest purpose of leadership is to add value to others. It is not about you. Leadership is not about the leader. It is about the people that you lead. So I wanted to share this. And the next slide I wanted to share before we go into the other segment is the 4 disciplines of leadership. The first one is the leader as a guide. This rhymes with influence. The leader's ability to guide others in life, in business, in whatever way, so that they follow. So the leader as a guide. The second is the leader as a partner. So when you're a leader, these are the 4 domains you operate in. You're either guiding or you are partnering, and this focuses on impacting relationships. And we're going to see that in the levels of leadership. This will play into the levels of leadership as we go along. Then the next level is the leader as a resource champion. This is focused on seeing and promoting results in your people. So you're not a leader just because of it's sake, but you're a leader for results. That is the third discipline that leaders need to get right. And the next is leader as a leader maker. This is replicating yourself. When you're a leader, you should remember you're not going to stay on the stage forever. You need to go, and somebody has to come and take over. So you need to replicate yourself, and you need to prepare somebody to follow you. Otherwise, your leadership will not be successful. All right? So those points out of the way, we will now move on to the levels of leadership. And there are 5 levels that we're going to quickly talk about, and we would give you the space. Now, John C. Maxwell determines, John has taught leadership for over 40 years. He has written more than 70, 80 books on leadership. He's probably written more on leadership than many, many, many more people. And he's reputed to be the #1 leadership expert in the world. Several organizations have named John C. Maxwell as the #1 leadership expert. So you probably want to get hold of some of his books and read, as we have recommended. And in his book, The 5 Levels of Leadership, he outlines 5 stages or levels of leadership. The first one is position leadership. We're going to go into it. The next level is permission. Position leadership is where you have a title and a position. The next level is permission leadership, where it's a relationship that you build with people. The third level is the production level, which is where you produce results and people follow you because of those results. The 4th level is a people development level, where you're training and investing in people. Then it talks about the pinnacle, or the personhood, the highest level of leadership, where people follow you because of who you are. All right, so we're going to quickly try to go through them and share different aspects of this. I will spend more time on positional leadership, because this is the area where a lot of us have issues. Many of us think that leadership is about position, especially those of us in corporate life. Leadership is about title, it's about hierarchy, it's about a position you hold, and we protect those positions. And sometimes we now get worried why we are not getting the results, because we miss it. We miss it. Leadership is not about position, but that is the first level. At this level, your boss gives you a title, or whoever appoints you gives you a position. And from that position, you are given some rights, you are given some responsibilities. And so your ability to influence people is drawn from the rights, the authority that you get from that position. So you have a position, you have the CEO, the general manager of a position, you're the pastor of the church, you're the husband or the wife, or whatever title is given unto you. That is the position, and it gives you some right. Once you have that position or title, maybe it's a chief, maybe the president, or the minister, or parliamentarian, they will call you honorable. That position entitles people or enable people to follow you. And people will follow you because they have to. If you're the president, people will follow you because you are the president. If you are the minister, when you get there, people will follow you because you are the minister. And if you are the IGP, all the police people are going to follow your instruction. You are the CEO, people will follow you. People follow you because of your title. And when you lead well, then even after the title is taken away from you, people will still follow you. And that's where you have to get to. But if you lead poorly, then what happens is that, people will not follow you. People will not follow you because your title is given away. Let's expand a bit more on the positional leadership. Now, the upside of positional leadership is that usually when you have a positional leadership, it means when they give you a position, it means that people have recognized your potential. So that's a good thing. In the beginning, your boss or whoever is appointing you, see there's some potential in you, and they give you the position. So you can celebrate it, and they give you the authority. The second thing is that leadership positions means your authority is recognized. So you are in the business, you are in the risk department for a very long time, and now they make you the head of risk. So some authority is given to you and power is given to you, but now you have to now use that power profitably. Then the next point is that leadership position is an invitation to grow. Once you have a title, a position given to you, it is an indication that there is a requirement on you to grow. So it is not the end of the road, but it should give you opportunity to grow further into that role. And in the corporate world, a lot of the time, sometimes people are even promoted into levels of incompetence. Once you're promoted to a higher level, you are now going to learn that job. The fourth point is upside of positional leadership is that this position allows the leader to shape and define their leadership. So yesterday, you were serving under one leader. There are things that he was doing that probably you didn't agree. But today, you have been given the position. So that gives you the opportunity to choose the kind of leadership or leader you want to be. And that is a good thing. All right. However, on the other side, the downside of positional leadership is that having a position is often misleading. A lot of the time, once you're given the position, you feel that you have arrived. But get it, a position or a title, no matter how glorious that title may be, does not make you automatically a leader. People have had titles and nobody follows them. Okay? They call it in the fancy that you are simpapeni. Nobody follows you. So let us not deceive ourselves. You need the position as a start, but the position does not make you necessarily a leader. Number two, leaders who rely on position lead a position to lead often devalue people. And positional leaders place very high value on their position and not on the aspects of leading. They don't look at the people. They are not looking at encouraging people. They are not looking at, once they have the title, that is all. And some people actually celebrate that position. I remember my brothers in Nigeria, when they appointed an executive director or CEO, they have a big party. The whole family is there. All right. So positional leaders also feed on title. It's more focused on power and control instead of contribution to the organization. Again, positional leaders usually place their rights over responsibility. That's why they insist, don't you know that I am the manager of this place? That's more important to them than the responsibility of leading the people. Positional leadership is often lonely. A lot of the time, if you all that you are doing is focusing on your title, people will draw away from you. And if you don't care about the people and you care more about your position, then you feel lonely and nobody cares about you. Number 6, leaders who remain positional get branded and stranded because you just focus on the position. Everybody is saying, he says he's the CEO, he says he's the manager, he says, and they brand you and they leave you alone. And a lot of the time, people who just lead by their position have very high turnover in their department or in their organization or in their company. Every organization where positional leadership is so strong, you see very high turnover because they are focused on authority and directive and to the detriment of the people. And people are people, they will leave. All right, a few more. Positional leaders receive people's list. Because you are so concerned about your title and your position, people will not give off their best, unlike other levels of leadership. Positional leaders look for security based more on title. They are so concerned about their title. Again, positional leaders rely on their leaders' influence instead of their own, especially if you work in a group, and you've been made a country head or the person who appointed you, you're always looking up to that person instead of looking at your own and your vision and your own direction and the people. And finally, positional leaders can't get people to follow them beyond their defined authority. So after the office, nobody wants to follow you again. And that is a limitation, all right? And the reason is that there is a certain thinking with people who are so attached to positions. They say, they see people as I am over you, and they separate themselves. And they say that, well, when you're a leader, you don't have to get too close to the people, okay? Because you have to maintain a gap between you and the people. They don't have to know too much. I had a boss like that who feels that, he doesn't have to come close. You have to, he limits your access to him and so forth. You have to book appointment and all that because your office is very important to them. Their image is to fake it till they make it. Even if they don't understand it, because they are so concerned about their position and title, they pretend as if they know. Positional leaders never let people know that they are sweating. That's their thinking. Just show a strength all the time. And there is a lot of faking out there. They are selfish in the sense that everybody else in the organization is here to help me. It is my department. It is my company. It is my balance sheet. It's my business. And, everybody is here to help you. Power, they determine your future. If you don't do what I want, then you are in trouble. Intimidation is the approach they use. Do this or else you're not. Now, this type of leadership is actually very, very dangerous, very dangerous, and it will not take you too far. That's the first level. There are a few more slides that I'll skip on positional leadership, and then we'll go to the next level of leadership. Now, the next level of leadership is permission. Here, you earn your influence because people have accepted you and people follow you. And this is because you've built relationships. And in fact, you can actually have a relational leadership or permissive leadership when you don't even have a title. But when you have the title or the position, the next level is to be able to build relationships so that people can accept you. Very often in corporate life, people are appointed to position and there was competition for the position. People didn't like you, others want different people. But now that you're in the position, you build relationships so that you can be accepted And then people follow you now because they want to, because of the relationship you have with them. Now, the upside is that permissional leadership makes work more enjoyable. People who are at this level of relationship understand human relationship, and they relate with people very well. And so they win people, and they make people find it enjoyable working with them because they respect them. Okay, so that's very, very important for us to understand that, you know, at this level, it's good for people to enjoy working with you. Permission leadership increases energy level. Where you have a leader at this level too, you know, he creates energy because everybody is important. Then permissional leadership opens up channels of communication. At this level of leaders listen. They listen to their people, they communicate with them, they spend time with them, and they share their vision with them. And that enables communication to flow. Leadership at this level also focuses on the value of each person. Everybody is important. The organization is for all of us, and relationships are built when people are respected and valued. So you have to move from your position to a level where you're respecting people. Number 5, permissive leadership nurture trust. Because you respect people, people have confidence in you, they are able to come to you and share their ideas and share their learnings. All right? The downside is that permissive leadership appears sometimes to be too soft for people. And again, people who are achievers, who are focused on results, get frustrated when their leader is so free and relating, so respecting everybody, being democratic. They feel that they have to focus on results and they have to get things done. They don't have time, and so they get frustrated. The other downside is that permissional leaders can be taken advantage of. And I personally have had a lot of challenges with people who just, because you're so nice, people just take advantage of you. Okay? And you are so nice, though, they need to come to work and they know that, well, you would understand them. So they come late and they oh, boss, you know, and then they know that you are not going to hit them. Now, that is a challenge for leadership at this level. Then, this type of leadership requires openness to be effective. If you're not open, you cannot be effective at this level. Again, permissional leadership is difficult for people who are not naturally likable. And get it or not, there are some of us who are not likable. We try to smile and we can't smile. Okay, we find it difficult, you know, to be open. We just pass people by and we don't greet them. Now, this becomes a big challenge if you need to build relationship. Permissional leadership forces you to deal with the whole person. It's very difficult. I mean, somebody has a problem in his house, he has a problem, personal problem, and he's coming to work. At this level, you have to deal with the whole person. You cannot just say, well, I don't care what's happening in your house, you are here to work, and let's move on. So that is the nature of that level. Once again, there are a few slides here that I will skip, but the thinking of permissional leaders is that let us work together. I will come to you. You don't have to come to me. What do you think? They're always including people. They are very cooperative. Let's win together. I'm here to help you. I want to add value to you. This is the way permissional leaders think. I believe in you. I believe you can do this. And they reinforce you. Let's think outside the box. So they generate energy and innovation. At this level, they're more effective and they get more people to follow them. All right. So we will move on to the next level, which is level 3, production level. Now, you've been given the title. You're building relationship. You're so nice. But if you are nice to people and you're not getting results, then you're in trouble. After a while, People will just love to have dinner with you or have lunch with you, but behind your back, they will say you are lazy or lousy or non-productive. So you're not going to just relate. You can be nice, but if you don't have the results, you'll be fired. Okay? You'll be fired. So we have to be very, very careful about this level. At this level, people follow you because of what you have done for the organization, because of the results you show. And so, yes, you may not even be that nice, you may not be that relational, but because of the results you show, people will follow you, they will come to you. But if you can combine title with, relationship and with results, then you are actually growing. Then you are growing in your leadership. So at this level, the upside is that production level gives you credibility because people can see results. People can see results. There are two people, those who produce results and those who give reasons why they can't do it. And if you're a productive leader, you produce the results and you will have credibility. If you are just giving excuses and blaming your people and blaming the circumstance, blaming the tools you have, as a leader, you're not going to go far. Number two, leadership at the production level sets standards for others. It's very important to productive leaders. They are the ones who are showing the system, they are setting the procedures, and they are setting standards. They are achieving results that they become example to others. Again, they bring clarity and reality to the vision. You can have a big vision, but if you don't have leaders who can help produce, then the vision will be in vain. Productive leadership solve problems. These are the leaders who come in and whatever the challenge, they come with solution and solve the problem. Productive leadership creates momentum. These are the people who are breaking the records, they are setting the standards, and they are the ones who are saying, we can do it. And they are people who are setting the foundations for team building. This is the upside of productive leadership. On the other side, however, being productive can make you think that you are a leader when you are not. Because you are bringing results, you think that everybody should listen to you and follow you. But you can bring results, but you're not, connecting with people. The methods may not be, right. And productive leaders, usually they'll get the results. They don't care who has died on the way. And that can be problematic. Productive leaders feel a heavy weight of responsibility for results. And sometimes they're taking everything on their shoulders, okay? And this becomes a big, big, big challenge. Now, productive leaders require making difficult decisions. They like difficult challenges, and if there's no challenge, then they are not very happy, all right? Now, this type of leaders need to understand that production is not enough. Okay, it's not enough that you are getting results. We should also understand that people are organizations' most appreciable assets. The results is important, but the results is acquired through the people. Growing leaders is the most effective way to accomplish the vision. So you need to understand that, otherwise you are not going to be effective. People development is the greatest fulfillment for a leader. So if you are very results oriented, please understand that the results can be achieved by the people, and when you develop people, you get the most reward. All right, we will move on to the next level of leadership, which is level 4, people development. Now, when you have a position and you build relationship and you can get results, now you are at a level now where you have to now develop others. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. It's very important. At this level of your leadership, you've grown from position to relationship through production, and now you are at a level where you are developing people. Here, People follow you because of what you have done for them. What investments have you put in them? How much time have you spent coaching them? This is the level where you are bringing people up and developing them. And that is the people development level of leadership. Few people get to this level. They just content themselves with results, and then the people work with you for a long time and they don't grow. You need to grow people. A lot of leaders just like others to be kept below them, especially in corporate level. I used to have a boss who would say, do you want to take my job from me? And a lot of managers think this way, that if they grow people, if they make people shine, then they're going to lose their jobs. That is not correct. And you have to move to that level, the fourth level, and grow people. Now, developing people sets you apart from most leaders. Leaders who focus on developing others, they are recognized and it sets you apart. Number two, people development assures that growth can be sustained. The more people you develop in the organization, the longer the growth can be sustained, because the resource is no longer based on one person. Okay, so many people will be producing. Again, people development empower others to fulfill their leadership responsibility. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. That's Quincy Adams. So we should try to encourage others and empower them so that they can take more responsibility. And you, the leader, can go and rest. If you're a leader and you cannot take your leave, and if you're a leader and you cannot stay out of your office for a day or two or three, then it means you haven't developed people enough. People development empowers the leader to lead larger. Now, when you have empowered people, you can then lead bigger teams. All right. The other side is that people development provides great personal fulfillment. It gives you satisfaction, as we have said. All right. The downside is that, when you are training others, you can become self-centered, and it can cause you, to neglect others. If you become self-centered, then you neglect your duty. Insecurity can make leaders feel threatened by others, and this is a problem. A lot of people are not able to get to this level because they are insecure, and they feel they're losing control by giving more to others. That's the challenge. And short-sightedness can keep leaders from seeing the need for people development. They are just seeing the resource, and we need to get it, and that's it. Lack of commitment can keep leaders from doing the hard work. People development is very hard, and you need to devote time. You need to coach, you need to mentor, you need to listen, and so it is not something that comes to a lot of people very easily. So that's the fourth level of leadership. Let me skip a few slides on this, and then let's summarize the level 5. Now, when you have your title, you build relationships. Now you can, get results, and you develop a lot of people. Now, the pinnacle or personhood level of leadership is where you've developed so many people that there's so many people now just look up to you. People may not even know you, and they follow you because of who you are. And there are people like Nkrumah, we never met them, but we want to follow their principle. Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, and people like that. They are at a level where we just hear their names for what they stand for who they are. People want to follow you. And this level is difficult. And not many people are able to attain this. Okay, because it takes a lot of effort, skill, intentionality, and high level of talent to be able to get to the pinnacle of leadership, where people now, flock to you, they want to learn from you, they want to hear you, and so on and so forth. Now, pinnacle leadership is very important. It creates level 5 organization. These are people who take organizations from zero and they build them up. Pinnacle leadership creates a legacy within the organization. when they leave the organization, they are leaving big footprints. That's where they say that the shoe is too big. We don't know who will fill it. Pinnacle leaders provide extended platform for leading. They build others up. All right. Okay. So I think time is running. So I'm going to stop here, and during the discussion, we can add a bit more to it. But quickly, the downside of Pinnacle leadership is that when you are at the pinnacle, it can make you think that you have arrived, and therefore you have nothing to learn from anybody, and nothing, nobody can lead you anymore. But it is not true. Leaders are learners, and learning doesn't end. Being on the pinnacle can lead you to believe your own press. It can make you arrogant, and then we've seen a lot of people, because of what they have achieved, they become so arrogant. All right. And being at the pinnacle can make you lose focus. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You have to remain focused on the purpose and the vision to continue leading. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will end here. As the questions come, I will talk a bit about leaders and managers, and the boss and the leaders as we go ahead. So I will end here, and then I will stop sharing my screen at this point, and I will take your comment.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. And there's been a lot of engagement both on Facebook and also on YouTube. Yes, and the first person to join us is Okwawoman TV, and they were watching live. Victoria Inshraba is joining us from Kumasi, and then we have Emmanuel, who is joining from Accra, Ghana, and we had Okwawoman TV again saying that I'm a name watching from Accra, Pokuase, and we had Asan Ali, and he also joined us on YouTube. We had George Apabli. He says, I'm so glad to join you again this evening, and that was wonderful. And scrolling down, we had Okwawoman TV again. He says, I'm going to learn a lot tonight, and truly, I think he has learned a lot, as I also learned a lot. We had Abi Safubuache, who joined us, and we had Ben BJK. He joined us all the way from London, UK. We had Joshua, who joined us from Accra, and so many people on the call who joined us. We had Victor, Philip, and then Victoria says, wow, very impressive. Okay, so quick one. There is this quote by John Maxwell, and as I was listening to you and going through the presentation, I was trying to understand what John Maxwell meant by that. But viewers, please, if you have any questions, as Mr. Ayim addresses this question of mine, please put your question in the chat box, and we are going to address each and everyone's question before we end the presentation. John Maxwell said that the difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and response to failure. So I would like to know, as we are studying the levels of leadership, what kind of perceptions do we have to have, and what are those that we don't have to get?
All right. Now, don't talk about the perception and appreciation of failure. Now, when you are leading, you're going to have challenges, because leadership is a very difficult point. Now, your ability to appreciate, accept, and navigate failure is going to determine how far you can go. Now, quitters don't win, winners don't quit. If you are going to be successful in whatever venture, you have to understand that one way or the other, you are going to have a challenge, you're going to have a setback. I mean, we just had Corona, and a lot of businesses are just trapped and, drained. But great leaders understand that they have to learn from this and turn around, the COVID situation, people are working from home, people are setting new system, people are going online, and so on and so forth. So although there was a setback, true leaders pivot. They pivot to other things. We, even at the Center for Transformational Leadership, have pivoted. We set out our program. We're going to have training at the center over and over and over, but we couldn't do it because COVID came. And what do? We move online, and we are doing the leadership platform, and we are reaching so many more people than we would have been able to reach. So that is what it means. Failure is the other side of success. And leaders understand it, that, failure is just an opportunity to do more, to be better. All right. I hope that helps you.
Yes,
Isaac.
thank you so much for that. There is a question from Facebook by one of our delegates, and he is asking that as a leader, the first person I need to lead is me, and the first person that I should try to change is me. So, going through these 5 levels of leadership, how can I find which level I am?
All right. So it is absolutely important, and we said the highest form of leadership is self-leadership. In fact, if you cannot lead yourself, if you cannot follow yourself, why should you expect anybody to follow you? So it is important that we should change ourselves first. This idea that, you just listen to what I say, don't see what I do, it doesn't work in leadership. Okay, so it is very important for us to understand. So I agree with that comment. Now, when you go through what we have presented, if you listen to yourself and you go through the material, you will know if you are positional, and I'm sure there are some of the people who are listening. If we pull up the pool now, you will see that people will say, yeah, I'm positional. But beyond that, we have tools, we have tests. And when we do a full day course, we have a test, you complete some questionnaire, and we'll be able to know whether you are positional or whether you are relational. But the thing is to understand is that positional leaders focus on their title and their power. And when you have to intimidate people and tell people that, don't you know that I am the so and so, I'm the husband, don't you know I'm the CEO, don't you know that I'm the owner of this company, you know that you are leading at a positional level at that point. Relational, when you have good relationship with the people and people feel comfortable with you as a leader and they can come to you, then you know that you are leading at relational level. Productive level is your resource. Since you became a leader, what has changed? What outcomes, what outputs are coming out? That is the test of your leadership. All right. Level 4, how many people are you developing? How many people, come out of, and when I used to be in corporate life, I used to pride myself that every secretary who came to my office, one went into banking, became head of retail, one went into banking, became a key member in corporate, and one went out, set up their own businesses. Every secretary that I had, by the time they're leaving, they have grown. And that is the important thing, because encourage people not to just be what they are. And that level of growing people is what will tell you whether you are at level 4 or level 3. All right.
Thank you so
Any
much.
other questions?
Thank you so much. Yes, there are a lot of questions for you. Let's take these comments. Stella Ado says, I am glad I joined this night. I am learning a lot. And then we have Baba Mohammed. He says the lecture is abound with theory and backed with practice. And we have Mami Efua that says, finally, I'm here. Mami Efua, yes, you are welcome and keep staying with us. Aina has a question, or no, he's joining us from in Sabah, Ghana. And there's a question down there. Can we have the slides for our personal libraries? Yes, please, you can log on to tlp.cto-africa.com after the presentation, and you have access to the replay and also the slide presentation. Okay, so this question is from Aina, and he says that, please, I believed all this are being practiced. How does one change from a type to a more desirable type of leadership? Or better still, can one have a bit of the various types? Thank you. So that is his question. Please, let's address that. And
Okay.
after his, we come back to the next.
All right. So yes, the first thing is what we are doing, awareness. You know, a lot of managers are not aware that they are leading at positional level, and they are shouting at their people, and they are hurting people, and they are just, people don't come near them, and you know, and they are not even aware. Okay, their title is more important, but you don't leave one level. When you go to the next level, when you have a title or a position, you just add onto it. Okay, so you can keep your title, you can keep your position, but also build relationships so that people can accept you and lead, follow you willingly, and at the same time, you know, get the results. You don't have to compromise one or the other. You don't have to compromise your position. You don't have to overemphasize your position just because you want results. You don't have to sacrifice the people just to get results. Okay, so you can get all at the same time, and that depends on your level of skill, your level of growth, and it requires you to be aware of yourself, work on yourself, learn more techniques, learn more people, and of course go through, come to CTL Africa. We have a coaching program, and where you have challenges, we can have a one-on-one coaching with you. Also, you need a coach. It doesn't have to be CTL Africa. You can find any executive or management coach to help you where you have a challenge, because some of us are not naturally relational. Okay, some of us are just so resource focused that we don't really care much about the people, and so get a coach. It's absolutely important to get a coach and learn from other people. That's what I would say. Hope it helps. Ike, we're not hearing you. You're probably muted.
Yes. Let's take these 3 questions, and after that, we go to the next. So this question from Baba Mohammed, he says, what is the best leadership style? What is the best leadership style for African context, narrowed down to Ghana? Then we go to
right.
Gerard. Gerard says, are leaders necessarily at one level, or is it possible to have a leader at multiple levels? And Abi Asafubuachi says, could you elaborate on the importance of integrity and trust in one's bid to lead effectively? So these are the 3 questions I want you to tackle now.
Okay. So, is there a best type of leadership? Well, you know, leadership is about people, and the highest form of leadership is adding value. When you say in the African context, leadership as a discipline is the same everywhere. Sometimes we say, oh, this doesn't work in Africa and that doesn't work in Africa. No, it's just sometimes we're just giving ourselves excuses for not doing the right thing. You know, it used to be that, you know, African leaders are the ones who come to work late, and they are the ones to leave the office, and they say this is how African leadership. That is not leadership. Okay, the best type of leadership is a leader who is focused on adding value to people, whether it is in Africa or in Afghanistan or in Azerbaijan. Human beings are human beings. Leadership is about people. The bottom line of leadership is to add value to people, to love people. So the things that we see in Africa and we call leadership, because somebody is tied to his position, somebody is focusing on just drawing the benefits from a title and a position, and cheating all of us and stealing from us, and we call it African leadership. That is no leadership. It's nothing like African leadership. Leadership is leadership. So let us get it right, and it can be learned. A lot of us, we're not trained in leadership. We just go and learn banking, we learn law, we learn whatever, and nobody teaches us leadership. And so when you are given the position, you have to develop yourself. Okay. Whether one will have only one level or the other, I believe I mentioned it. No, I mean, there are some people who are just at the title level and they don't want to grow. But as you grow, you can have a position and you can also have a permission, and that is the ideal. You combine. As you grow, you are combining the various levels. So that is the ideal situation. That is the expectation, that you grow from not just focusing on title. In fact, there are some people who don't have the position, but they have a position mentality. They are not just the manager, but all their focus is they don't want to do anything until they are appointed to the position. They are waiting to be given a position before they act. And when they see things going wrong, they don't want to deal with it because I am not the boss. I'm not the manager. And that is not right. Now, so you have to, if the more you grow, the more, you move from the low level. Positional leadership is the lowest level, but you go to the highest level, higher level, which is relationship. And then the next level is production. Because if you are so nice and you are not giving results, it won't work. Now, the importance of trust and integrity. Now, trust is the foundation of leadership. It's the relationship. Now, if you are not trusted, if you're not authentic, if you don't have integrity with people, if you're not honest with people, people will not follow you. Okay? So sometimes you can be competent and you can be charismatic, and that can open doors for you. But once you have entered, it is your character that is going to keep you there. And we see a lot of people, who have leadership position, but who have no character, who have no integrity, who are not very honest. That doesn't go far. People will say, yes, Amasa, but they will not follow you after they get what they need. So integrity is very, very important. Trust is fundamental. Okay? All right. So, yes. Ike.
So that's great. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So let's take this comment from Pearl. She says, I'm happy I joined today. Thanks for sharing, Sam. And we have Tete Junior Anthony. He says, thanks for your service. I appreciate it. Then we have Victoria. She's asking a question. She says, from this presentation, I now know why most staffs were tearing up the day I resigned. Some threatened to also resign. It was all because of my leadership style. Okay, that's a comment. So let's take this question from BJK Ben from London. He says, should a person that established a company automatically be the leader, or employ someone else to be the leader? That's the question from Ben. And
All
there's
right.
one question from Douglas I want you to add. He says, can one have one or more levels of leadership? I think this question has been answered. So let's take that one from Ben.
All right. So there are different, there are different leadership competencies, and people can lead in different areas. So you find you establish a company or a business. Now, usually when you have the vision and you know where you want to go, you have to assess what in that vision you can do yourself and what you need others to help you. Because if the vision is so big, and then for a vision to be vision, it has to be bigger than you. You will need a team. Okay? If you have a big dream but a lousy team, That is the definition of a nightmare. You cannot be able to make progress. So when you establish a business, decide which areas you have the competence in and bring other people to help in different areas. Maybe you are good at the marketing, but you're not good at the finance. So let somebody else lead in the finance. Or you are good at the production. That's where you are good at. You can take that area. If you're not good at managing, then or organizing or planning, then find somebody who can do that for you. So the fact that you are the owner of the business does not necessarily mean you can play all the roles effectively. All right. Okay. Next.
Thank you so much. Let's take this comment from Yao Ampofo Ayu. He says, great presentation. I believe the first step to transformation is being aware of such information. I'm grateful. Thank you for joining us, Yao. And Judith says, thanks so much for the education. I'm really learning a lot. Please, how does a leader train others to take up after them? Thank you. And Kwame JB says, thanks so much. In the cutthroat corporate world, there is intense competition. What stops your company from kicking you out if you have trained 3 people to do what you can do, even better than you?
All right.
Should I take that again?
All right. So the first question is, how do you train others? Now, the first thing is that leaders show people, and maybe at this point, I would like to maybe share a bit about what leaders, the differences between leaders and managers. Let me just share the screen at this point, and let me see if I can. Let me see if I can share my screen on this point and share a few ideas about the differences between managers and leaders. And that will help us to know how, leaders can develop others and others. So do you see my screen? I hope so. All right. So now there's a difference between managers and leaders in this respect. Leaders maintain the status quo. They just want to keep things as they are. But that's managers. Leaders create change. Now, as the leader is leading by your personal leadership, people will be learning from you. Managers are about planning. Leaders are about inspiring. As you inspire people, as you energize people as a leader, they begin to learn. They begin to bring the best out of them. Managers give directions, but leaders ask questions. And asking questions is one of the major ways to teach people. Instead of giving people and directing them, when you direct people to do things, what happens is that they will do what you want and they don't learn anything. But when you ask them questions, they are learning. Managers have subordinates. Leaders have followers. What that means is that leaders do things and others look at what they are doing and they follow their steps. It's leading by example. That is how you train people. That is how you bring people to the level. You don't treat people as subordinates who are below you, who cannot come near your office and who can. That kind of leadership is positional and it doesn't help train others. Now, the other difference is that managers use authoritarian style while leaders have a motivational style. Now, if you motivate people, encourage people, inspire them, they are learning and they are growing. Managers tell people what to do, leaders show them. And that is a very good way of training people, showing them what to do. And the next point is that managers have good ideas, but leaders implement good ideas. So as a leader, when you are implementing good ideas with your team, they are learning. And that is one way that you can grow. The other is that managers react to change, leaders create the change. And you are creating the change with your people. And by so doing, your people are learning. Managers try to be heroes. Leaders make heroes of everyone around them. Absolutely important. You want people to achieve, you want to celebrate them, you want to encourage them, you want to showcase them. And that helps them to learn a lot. And the other difference is that managers exercise power over people, but leaders empower. Now, empowerment is very important. You empower people by giving them responsibility, by giving them work to do and leaving them to do it. You know, managers micromanage. They use their power to check and they micromanage people. But leaders give people authority, they give them the power, they give them the space, and by so doing, you are training them. Management is about hierarchy, leadership is about teams. Now, when you have a manager, he sits at the top. In fact, most of the time, physically, in the building, the manager sits on the top floor and all the others sit down. All right. I remember one day I had a boss who wanted to move the boardroom to the first floor and just keep the CEO's office at the top floor. And I advised him that my boss, this is not going to work. The boardroom has always been here, and the directors are used to it. You're going to bring it down? No, he says you will not. So he designed a plan with the boardroom down, and he and the CEO and his people only at the top. And he presented a plan to the board. And when they presented, what the director said was, this is a very good plan, but Mr. CEO, why don't you just invest it? Why don't you put the CEO's office down and put the boardroom at the top? Then he was struggling. He didn't know what to answer. And, you know, in a corporate world, there is this hierarchy of somebody being at the top. Leadership spirit is about teams. So the leader is part of it. He's on the field with the people. And as you're on the field with the people, you are able to encourage them and train them. Now, JB is asking, so I wanted to share this so that we can all, you know, be able to learn from it. Now, JB is saying that, well, the corporate world is very competitive. And if you train people who can do your job, then you'll be fired. On the contrary, no. Now, if you train people and you have built more people, it gives you room to move to the next level. So if you want to keep in the same level, you know, I think there's an account proverb that then for as long as you are there doing the same work, you're not going to move. Okay? You have to move to the next level. And to move to the next level, you have to train others. But if you have this idea or mentality that let me just, you know, keep everything I know to myself, and, you know, because somebody is going to take over my job, then you are not going to move. You're not going to grow. You're not going to expand. For how long are you going to do the same job, you know, for the rest of your life? And what happens is that because you don't grow, you keep to that job, you retire, and you don't know to do anything else. So I know that the corporate world is competitive, but even in the corporate world, if you apply the true leadership principles, you grow and you expand. And the people you train will forever be indebted to you. They'll remember you, they'll respect you, and they'll follow you. All right? So that is my response.
That is great. That is great. I personally had the same thought some time ago that if I teach someone what I do, then definitely they are going to kick me out. So let me just keep that to myself. But today I've learned a new thing, and thank you so much for that. So David is saying that congratulations for excellent presentation. And we have Amina. She says, this is Amina Issa. I am learning so much tonight. It is affording me the opportunity to place myself on a particular level. And Samuel AJ says, God richly bless you, Mr. Yim. Focus on adding value to people. Thank you, Samuel. And Tete Anthony is asking a question, or let's say there's a comment. He says, the situation where you are the manager and you made some suggestions to your boss and it's not being implemented, should you continue to make suggestions because all your previous inputs were not considered? That's a question. And
Yeah.
Abby comes again and she says, leadership starts with self-leadership indeed. Leadership should be example. A leader should walk the walk. So let's take this last comment and then you address the initial question. And after that, we come to your final takeaways. How do you develop a team that do not want to take up additional responsibility and develop?
Okay. All right. So the a team that does not want to take additional responsibility. All right. So let's start from there before we go to the first question of where you've made suggestion and your boss is not taking it. Now, well, if people are not prepared to learn, then it's a difficult challenge. Okay. But if the people are not prepared to take additional challenge, you should ask yourself as the leader, why are they not? It may be because of the way you are selling it or the responsibility. It may be the way you are leading them. Maybe they don't see themselves as part of a team. They just see that they're just working for you, not with you. So you have to examine yourself, examine the style, and find out. Now, if you find out that you have, you've done everything, then is it because they are overworked, overloaded, they have too much? People will always want to know what is their end game, what is in need for them. Okay, so you can't take that basic thing away from them. But generally, when people know that there is a reward in what they are doing, and if they have been properly, led and trained to understand that the higher you go, the better your leadership, they are probably able to accept more responsibility, because the higher you go in leadership, the greater the responsibility. All right. But if they don't, then you keep them at that level and you have to replace them. This happens a lot where, you make suggestions to your boss and the boss doesn't want to listen. He says, what do you have to do? Well, first of all, let's see how the suggestion was made. It's very, very important, because a lot of the time, the way we communicate our ideas can actually repel people. In the corporate world, a lot of people are so glued, as we mentioned, they are so glued to positional leadership. And the positional leaders don't want to feel bad. They don't want to look bad. So if you have suggestions, and if it is an open discussion and the boss says, bring your suggestions, and you bring it, that's fine. But if in an open, you just put it as if you know everything and your boss doesn't know everything, that is also a problematic. So check first how you are communicating the results, and always position it as in the boss's interest and the organizational interest. First of all, know your boss, know his style, know his personality, and know the timing at which you are going to communicate. If you check all those things and he doesn't want, sometimes look for other avenues. Who does the boss listen to? You can go to the person and share the idea in confidence. And if your sole objective is not for your own glory, but for the organizational good, then your boss, the other person, can communicate it, and you don't care who communicates it, provided it is done. But maybe the boss has a better idea also. So maybe you also have to listen. If you've done everything and the boss doesn't want to listen, then of course the only thing you can do is to keep to yourself. All right. So as we go, as we get close to the end, let me just share again my slide, and I'm going to share one more slide with you. And this slide is on the difference between the leader and the boss. Okay. Okay. So let me share this slide. Okay. I don't know if you can see my screen. All right. So I have just one slide on the leader and the boss. A lot of the time, this is what we call the boss. Bosses drive workers. They push you to the wall, whether you are tired or not. Leaders coach them. It is absolutely important. Sometimes we ask people to do things and we have not taken the trouble to guide them, to check with them where they are. We have not even given them all the tools, all the ideas and all the resources and all the opportunity to be able to do it. Bosses drive, leaders coach. Bosses depend on authority, leaders depend on goodwill. It is absolutely important. If you're just asking people to do it because you are the boss, very often it doesn't go far. But when the people respect you because you respect them and you care about them, then you have goodwill and they will do everything for you. It is said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you care about your people, you have their goodwill. Bosses require fear. A lot of bosses want to put the fear of God into others. I had a boss who would say, they will see if I don't deal with them, and then you deal with them, you kill them, and what next? All right. Fear is not a good motivator. Leaders inspire enthusiasm. It is good to encourage people to generate enthusiasm. Let the people buy into the vision and the work. Bosses use I, leaders use we. We, whether we are winning, we, whether we are losing, we, whether we have the results, we, whether we have problems, it is us. And that creates a sense of belonging among your team. Number 5, bosses know how it is done. They know how it is done. Leaders show how it is done. Okay, so you know it and then you just shout it out. That's not the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Okay, but show the people. Do it for them to see. Get into the ball. Leadership by example. Bosses say go. Leaders say let's go. You're part of the game. All right. Bosses fix the blame for any breakdown. Leaders fix the breakdown. It is absolutely, absolutely important. Now, let me just, give you my quick takeaways from here. Number 1, you can move up a level, but you never leave the previous level. So if you have a position, you can add permission to it, but it doesn't mean that you lose a position. You may have another position, but you still have to maintain your relationship and you have to add your production. So you can move up, but you don't leave the next level. You are not on the same level with every person. So you should understand that. Some people are on position, some people are on relationship, some people are on productive level. So as a leader, you have to know where you are and where your people are and help to bring them up. The higher you go, the easier it is to lead. The higher you develop and grow your leadership skill from positional to relationship to productive to people development, then it becomes easy because you don't have to order, you don't have to direct, people will just follow you. Number 5, moving up levels occurs slowly, but going down can happen very quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very important to understand. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of reading, a lot of working with people to be able to build your leadership abilities. But if you lose it, it can be lost very, very fast. All right. And number 6 takeaway, the higher you go, the greater the rewards and the returns. It's very important. If you continue to keep at positional leadership level, your output, your results you get from your people is going to be low. But if you add to it, your returns are going to be very good. Number 7, moving further up always requires further growth. When you move from position to relationship, you need more growth. So there's no end. Even at the pinnacle, there's still more room to grow. Not climbing the level limits you and your people. Guys, a lot of us have imposed limitation on us because we are stuck to our positions, stuck to our titles, stuck to the rights, and we are not growing. And you're staying in the same position for 10 years and you wonder why somebody was made the MD and not you. All right? It's because you've just stuck to a position and you haven't grown. Number 9, when you change positions or organizations, you seldom stay at the same level. So movement is very good. So you may have a position and you move to another organization, or when you move to a new position, the new position will require different skills. And so you need to learn. And number 10, you cannot climb the levels alone. You cannot go, leaders don't get to the top alone. You go with people. So grow people. They say good leaders lead followers, great leaders lead leaders. So these are the 5 levels of leadership. And as I've said, we have a full course. There's much more details on how to grow on each of the levels. We have tests on how to assess it. And we can do this one-day thing for your teams to help them, to equip them to lead better. So we encourage you to connect with us at CTL Africa, and we will be able to help you. If you have any questions, you can contact us. We have our numbers on the screen: 055-051-5391 and 054070843 is my personal number. You can contact me. Thank you very much for the audience. If there are no, I'll pass you over to Isaac so that we can.
Thank you so much. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. What should we expect next week?
Well, next week is going to be interesting. We are debating 2 interesting topics. One of them is how to develop a leadership portfolio of influence. And that's a very powerful. What are the levels of influence, the segments of influence that you as a leader need to grow on? And the other topic, depending upon the availability of the speakers, is protecting the leader's mental health. Leading is a difficult work, and so we need to protect our mental health. So we're going to have somebody who is going to talk to us about the psychology of the leader and how you can lead without jeopardizing your mental health, without going crazy, but leading well. So keep with us. And as some of you would have realized, we've moved from Zoom to Streamyard. And this gives you more opportunities to be able to connect on Facebook, because on Zoom, we can only take questions on Zoom, and those on Facebook Live, sometimes we miss them. But now you can connect on all those platforms and we can interact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've really learned a lot today, and I'm not missing next week. Thank you so much, Mr. Im, for this opportunity. And I am also closing with Gifty Mauto. She says, "Wow, you cannot climb the levels alone." Thank you, my boss. Thank you, Gifty, for joining. JB says, "Wonderful. Thanks for the lessons," and we thank you too for joining us. And it's 8:30, and we encourage you all on YouTube to subscribe to our channel right now. Please do it. Like, subscribe to our channel right now and share this video with your friends so that they can also take some lessons from this. Great lessons taught. Thanks so much, Akosia. We appreciate you so much. And those on Facebook, please share this video with your friends and follow our page. We have over 10,000 followers on Facebook right now, and we cannot appreciate you so much. We are the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, and we are here to make a difference. See you next week at the same time on the Leadership platform. Bye bye.